The Vera Time Show. The Vera Time Show. The Vera Time Show. The Vera Time Show. Let's talk about it. 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 On the Vera Time Show. Let's talk about it. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Tina Fletcher, and I'm excited to share with you this anthology. It is a powerful collection of women's stories about embracing your power, finding your voice, and unlocking your true potential. I'm from Australia, where between the vast spaces and the quiet remoteness, I have learnt the power of storytelling and how it helps us to understand the strengths we find in sharing our journeys and in our own personal quiet moments. The anthology is called She Grows Stronger, and it's a celebration of women's resilience and transformation. Each chapter reveals how a different woman discovers their power with the practical strategies that guide you through your journey. I have wanted to be part of this anthology because I believe in the power of shared experiences. The stories you'll read will show you that no matter what challenges we face, you can have the strength to rise and grow. This book is for every woman navigating life's transitions and challenges. Whether you're seeking inspiration or practical guidance, you'll find stories that resonate and strategies that will guide and empower you. So let me welcome you to She Grows Stronger and invite you to become the best version of you. Thank you.
Hello, hello, hello. Let me move this. How is everyone tonight? I am so glad to be here, and I'm especially excited about my guest tonight, Miss Tina Fletcher. How are you today?
I'm fabulous, thank you. How are you going?
I am doing great. Let me tell our audience a little bit about Tina Fletcher. She is an author and speaker who helps women break free from autopilot and reclaim their time, energy, and choices through her latest book, The Weight of Yes, and her contribution to She Grows Stronger. She sparks conversations on why conscious yeses, not just saying yes, are our true superpower. Yes. I say yes. Listen, I'm so excited that you're here. And what I'm going to do is give you the floor and ask you to just share about your journey, starting with what was your childhood like and how did it shape and mold you and led you to doing the things that you do?
Okay, well, my childhood was probably a little bit different to a lot of people's. I grew up in a family. I had a brother and a sister, and another brother, but he was 15 years later, so he wasn't there at the beginning. Um, and we traveled a lot because my parents ran hotels and motels, so we were moving quite regularly. So I didn't get what a lot of people get, where you live in one town for your whole life and you make childhood friends and all the rest of it. I went to probably 10, 12 different schools. So that sort of shaped me in the fact that I'm quite used to doing that and I'm still doing it now. Doesn't mean I haven't lived in places for a long time as an adult. Absolutely. I've lived in towns for, 5, 10 years. To me, that's a long time. So I think what it shaped me is it made me very independent. And I still am today. I have pretty well spent 30 years working for myself. I did have jobs originally, and then I joined the army. I was in the Australian Defence Force for 3 years, but after that, I got out. I went back and got my certificate in graphic design, and then I've always worked for myself. So how it shaped me is it made me just make my own way in the world. I've tended to do what I wanted. I'm very lucky. I've been able to do things that may not have been mainstream or available for other people because I didn't know that I shouldn't. So I
That's
didn't have those
amazing.
societal, oh, you should do this because I knew everybody in town and they gave me critique. I didn't know anybody. Every time we moved, I got to start again. So if I'd screwed it up the time before, guess what? New me. So it sort of definitely shaped, I've lost my knife here. It definitely shaped, I suppose, how I perceive things in the fact that I don't believe that if you make a mistake, it's set in blood. You should be trying things in your life. You should be pushing boundaries. You should be learning and discovering things. And as a parent now of 5 adults, um, our relationships are changing probably every day. And I love that. I have different relationships with each different child. They're all independent. They all do their own thing. And we all intercede and get together every now and then. And yeah, it's very, very important. I think that boundaries are something you have to make that they're personal. If you don't see yourself as valuable enough to have boundaries, that's when you get walked over. And yes, I have spent many times getting walked over as a parent of 5 children and then as a single mum of 5 children because I got divorced. You can imagine you walk into a new town and there's you single mum, 5 children, straight away you're categorized. Doesn't matter what you are. So I had to learn to play the game. Was it a good game? Depends on what mood you're in, eh? But I found that the biggest thing that I had to do is put those boundaries in on what people expected of me and also for my children what I expected from them and what for them to understand societal wise as people perceived us as a single mum, 5 children, straight away we were going to have to be on the back foot and have to show better. So we do. And that's what you do in life. It's just what it is. As much as it might sound, oh, it's bad that you had to do that, society is what it is. People already have preconceived ideas. So when you said you wanted to talk about boundaries and, the guilt of parenting adult children, oh, yeah, man, this is my scene. I understand. And I think as a parent, as we were talking about before, the biggest change when they become adults is realizing that you've gone from parent-child relationship to adult-adult relationship. And man, is it easier to just drop back into parent mode and go, oh, I'll solve all your problems.
No.
But you're disrespecting them to do that. You're disrespecting yourself. So I'm not going to say I get it right all the time, but I try to get it right. And when we're living in the same house, we all have the same rights. So, and that means that we pay the same bills, we have the same things. Like I like cooking more, so I might do more cooking. But if I'm doing more cooking, guess what, mate? You're doing more cleaning up. So those boundaries have to be in place. I'm not your slave, and as a parent, you should stop being the parent and be the adult.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because how else are they going to know how to function as an adult outside of that home? It's very
Yes.
important to teach responsibility from an early age. And even, as they grow and they stay, my son was with me until he was 24, and we had boundaries, which were the cause for him to leave. You need to have those boundaries and you need to stick to them. And with adult children, having them accept responsibility, as you said, take part in paying the bills, take part in the household, whatever, and be responsible for their own laundry and what have you.
Yes, yes. And it can go both ways. Like, I'm now currently visiting my daughter and my son. And like when I come here, yes, they tend to drop back and let me do a bit more. But I have to then say, hang on a sec, I'm visiting. You should actually be doing more and I should be doing less. But it doesn't happen because they automatically drop straight into, oh, mum's here, she'll solve these problems. So we both have to consciously say, hang on, this is not our relationship anymore. We're adults together. I'm visiting. What can we do to solve this? And we do. And it works lovely. And I'm having problems with my headphones, so sorry about
No problem.
that.
That's usually how I am.
Yeah, my ears don't fit in my ears properly. I think one of the biggest things that I think as an adult parent navigating adult children is remember the word adult. You're both adults. So if you wouldn't talk to your adult friend that way, you shouldn't talk to your adult child that way. And if you wouldn't expect your
Absolutely.
if you wouldn't expect your adult friend to um, do what you're expecting your adult child to do, well then once again you're not giving them the respect that they deserve. And it's hard. It's hard to not to go from do what I say. It's not a discussion to hang on. It is a discussion.
Yes, exactly.
you know, and this comes with lots of things with boundaries with adult children. Um, and I talk about the weight of yes. Well, as an adult, both adults, and the thing you're both now dealing with that weight of trying to please each other when boundaries first start. Because they want you to, if you're living in the same house, be happy too. They love you. You're their parent. So they're not trying to be a little, whathead. They're probably trying very much to respect you, but they have to learn that boundary too. And maybe they're not navigating it as comfortably as you because you've had more years' experience. So when you get angry because they're defying the boundaries, maybe they don't understand the new boundaries. And that's, a conversation that has to happen. And
Well,
also,
I'm going to give you an example of a boundary that as parents, first of all, with adult children in the home, it's no longer do as I say, not as I do. You cannot set a boundary for your child saying, I do not want this, and yet they see you doing it. So, one of my boundaries, my son, like I said, he was a young adult and he would have company come and I would say to them, "Listen, you are more than welcome to visit, but you cannot stay." Okay? And a couple of times and of course I would go to bed and a couple of times, you know, I'd get up and they're still here and that crossed a line.
mhm,
Warning, second warning, you gotta go, you know? And so being able to adhere to the boundaries that you set, knowing because my whole thing was, I'm not asking you to do anything that you don't see me doing. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? So, yes.
yeah, and it's challenging, isn't it? Because Um, and I have it now from a different point of view because I don't have a home. So my kids don't come to my house for the boundaries. I go visit them or we meet somewhere. So I probably don't see it the same way as you do it. But it is very hard when they start being acting like adults and um, things that your generation wouldn't accept. You know, it becomes a challenge. But I think you'll never solve them all. And sometimes the best boundary is just separating and not living together, as in your case. And sometimes the boundary is, can we work this out? Is there a middle ground. And sometimes there isn't. That's just it. Sometimes
Right.
there isn't. And that's
Right.
not bad either, because at least you talked about it. You haven't just went, oh, I'm going to chuck a wobbly like a 2-year-old and run out the door crying. You know,
Right.
you go,
Right. And the beauty of it was he didn't give me any mouth. He showed me no disrespect whatsoever. He simply said, "Okay, mom." You know?
yeah,
Now, it costs him because there are consequences for the choices that we make. And the one thing he did say to me after the fact, he was like, "Mom, you making me leave like that made me a man."
mhm.
So he had some struggles, but he did what he needed to do because of the consequences based on his decisions.
Yes. Yeah, and that's exactly right. Everything has consequences. If I'm as a parent stand here and rant and scream at you as an adult child, and don't listen to your opinion, same as if you were doing it with any other adult, how can I expect the consequences to be positive and us to grow together? Because I'm not allowing you to be an adult. I'm ranting at you, which I shouldn't do to any other adult, but I'm disrespecting you as an adult. You know, um, and it's simple things like changing the way you word things from like, oh, oh, I don't know, if a child come to me, or my adult children came to me and said, hey, none of them have kids, so this is not a scenario I've got, but I'll use it anyway. Um, can you watch my kids this weekend? Now, maybe I want to watch the kids, but maybe I don't. But I should have the choice, and we should have the dialogue that I say, well, actually, no, I can't, or I might be able to. What hours do you want? It doesn't have to be a yes or no, and it doesn't have to be expected from either of you. And I think that's the biggest thing. I don't expect my children to, if I say today it's Thursday, that they can't argue with me, say it's Friday, well, we can have a talk about it. But I actually don't know what day it is. It's Wednesday. That was a bad example, but you know what I mean. Like we have to talk about things, and if I'm saying, "Hey guys, you've got to pay more rent because the rent's all gone up, it's more expensive," that's a conversation that has to be had because we're both adults. And I know for a lot of years, I tended to, as an adult, take on all that extra responsibility, thinking that I was doing them at oh, it's my thing, I'm the adult, I've got to do this. But maybe they can't pay more money, maybe they're just on too small a wage, but maybe they could pick up another responsibility so you could get another shift, or help out a bit more around the house so you're not so exhausted in your job, so you can go to a next pay rise. Or maybe they've got to just turn more lights off, you know?
Yes, and see that gets to the weight of letting go.
That's right.
Because so often as a parent, even with grown children in the home, we feel like we have to take on the full responsibility when we, like you said, it's hurting that adult child because it's an adult. It's not a child, it's an adult.
Yes.
Therefore, those responsibilities. And the one thing that, I mean, we all, as parents, I was not a perfect parent. We all make mistakes and what have you. But one thing I can say with my son, when he lived with me, when he had a job, I did not have to ask him for anything. It was the first thing that he did when he cashed his check was come,
Yeah.
I mean, the very first thing. We don't see that too much with adult children much anymore.
And I think it comes down to a lot of the problems is that life is very expensive now. Like things that before you sort of thought, oh, I can have a $50 a week for fun money and do all these things. Well, $50 a week these days wouldn't go very far. Unless, of course, you're
Right.
living in Asia, but it does go very far. So the problem is that they may not have as much money as adult children of previous times. So then, the expectation then becomes harder because they can't. do what you want them to do because they don't have that ability. But that comes back to, once again, boundaries in place and conversation. Like, hey, how are you going? Well, this house is getting very expensive to run. I'm struggling, or I'm finding that I'm paying too much. You're an adult in this house. Can you help more than you are now? And if they can't, well, then what are we going to do to solve this? Do we cut down, the 15 streaming services we have? Do we cut out something else? But that can't happen if we don't have a conversation.
Right. And that conversation should perhaps be like, what can you contribute versus can you? Because the can you is like an open, a closed yes or no. No, what can you do? Help me understand what you can do to help us live.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah. Like so many times as an adult, we're so weighed down with the guilt of saying, oh, we can't do this ourselves because we're supposed to be, big, strong mum, dad, we've got it all, got our ducks in a row and we know what we're doing. Well, guess what? We don't know what we're doing either. Right. None of us do. We're all navigating and hoping that today we get it right. And I think that's the hardest thing when you become adult relationships with your child, is that you're letting them see that vulnerability about yourself. That, hey, I actually don't have a clue what I'm doing and I just wing it every day, just like you are as an adult now. But what we could do is we could navigate this together. Yes. How are we going to put boundaries in this house so we all can live in here?
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. I love it. Listen, I am going to go to a commercial and then we'll come back and we'll talk about your books and how they relate to our topic.
In a world where authenticity is the key, unlock your brand's potential with ADM's game-changing marketing solutions. We craft striking logos that embody your brand's spirit and build websites that captivate and convert. Our lead generation strategies are tailored to your needs, driving growth and boosting your bottom line. And our content, well, it's not just content. It's a narrative, a story that connects and resonates with your audience. But here at ADM, we're about more than just exceptional services. We're about authenticity, about staying true to who you are and what you stand for, because realness, that's what makes a brand unforgettable. So if you're ready to elevate your brand with authenticity and excellence, follow this page. Dive deeper into the world of divine marketing and become part of our community. Because at ADM, we're not just about making brands, we're about making brands matter.
ADM, Authentic Divine Marketing. Ariel, Chime. She does beautiful work and she looks at your purpose and your passion and she puts it into videos or whatever it is that you need, songs. I mean, she's awesome. So check out Authentic Divine Marketing at bit.ly/divine chime. Ariel Chime. All right. Now, I said that we were going to talk about your books, so I want to pull up one of them, the one that really ties in with what we're talking about here, the weight of yes. It's time to take selfish back. And that relates to all areas of your life. I'll let you say some things about this.
When I created this book, and when I created like the subtitle of it, Take Selfish Back, the first thing I heard was, oh, that doesn't make sense. What do you mean take selfish back? Because, especially as women, what do we hear all the time? Oh, you're putting yourself first? You're selfish. Your children should come first. Oh, you're going to do this? Oh, that's selfish. I mean, I think I've heard it 1,000 times. But selfish is, I want that word to not be a bad thing. I believe if we look after ourselves first, we can look after other people from a position of power and strength. If I'm not exhausted, I can give you more. So as a parent with children, if I'm not exhausted when you come and tell me your problem, I will listen properly, not just respond and give you what you don't really want to hear because I'm too exhausted to hear you. So the weight of yes is about that moment between reaction and making an action. So when somebody says to you, hey, can you do this for me? You think, you pause right there and you think about it. And you go, can I do that for them? Do I want to do that for them?
Yes.
That weight is off you for that second and you consciously are aware about the situation. If we put that into a scenario for a child, an adult child, if they come to me and go, hey, I want to have a party this weekend, is that all good? Well, you probably go, yeah, no problems. But then, did you really mean, yeah, no problems? Or hang on a sec, I'm absolutely buggered from work. Having, 15 people in this house this weekend is going to drive me insane. Maybe you say, oh, hang on a sec, when are you looking at having this party? How many people are coming? What are you going to do? Et cetera, et cetera. And then you might go, yeah, that's all right, I'll just go to my work. No problems. But if you don't pause and ask the questions, how do you get the right answer? So my book is
Absolutely.
that weight that we're all covering, holding on to every time we say yes when we didn't think about it first.
Absolutely. And it is okay to say no.
Yes,
It is okay to say no.
and no is a complete sentence. No explanation needed. I can just say to you no. And
Yes.
that is harder when you're dealing with children, with adult children, because there's that justification. And as an adult, you used to say no. As adult children, you can still say no.
Right.
You want
We
to
don't
have
need to
a no.
justify,
Yes,
as adults, we don't need to justify our answers or our responses or our
that's exactly right.
reactions.
Exactly. Um, because like every automatic yes, it carries that weight. Um, and sometimes the most loving thing we can do for ourselves and also our adult children is put that weight down and show them that these healthy boundaries actually what they look like, what they mean, how they value you. And that's what my book is about. My book is, yes, it has been written for women. The reason, because I feel as women, this is our biggest struggle, is putting ourselves first, hence the word selfish, because we're always told to stop being selfish and get in there and do what we've got to do. But we're reclaiming that word selfish and saying, yeah, I was selfish today. I put myself first, but guess what? Now I'm able to help myself and others because I'm feeling good,
Yes,
because I feel
because
valued.
exactly, because you cannot continuously pour out, pour out, pour out with not having something pour in to you. And
Correct.
so, and you cannot truly give unless you have given to yourself. You've shown love to yourself. That's what selfish is, showing love for yourself by taking care of yourself mentally, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. And then you can pour in to others.
Exactly. And how can you pour into others? And I mean, I've done it myself. You burn yourself out. And then what you're giving to them is subpar. And also, how can you teach, your children to respect themselves and have boundaries and be the best they can be if they're seeing you exhausted, setting no boundaries, um, being disrespecting yourself, like, looking in the mirror and saying to yourself, oh, I look like crap today, is not a good boundary. You walk downstairs in the house with your kids and you go, oh my God, I look so fat today. My son goes to me, I didn't hear that, you know, stop, go back and walk upstairs and come back down and say again, okay, today I'm coming downstairs. Yeah, I probably could lose a kilo or two, but guess what? I look lovely today because I've done the best I can do with the person I am right now, whether
Right
it's
now.
thin, fat, tall, short, whatever.
Right now.
Um, right now, I'm doing the
Yes.
best. I'm being the best person I can in this body and who I am right now. And that's sort of what we talk about in the book, and it's just about finding you and taking that weight off yourself of the yes. And the reason I said the weight of yes, not boundaries to no, is because I tend to write, and I'm very much a half glass full person. So to me, by saying This is a book about not saying no or saying no felt negative, and I wanted this to be a positive experience for people
Ex-
because I want them to love themselves enough to put themselves first.
yes. And one point about yes. Now, if the yes, because you do need to evaluate and assess, how is saying yes benefiting me, others, my career? How is this benefiting me? And if it benefiting me is going to in turn benefit others, then should I say yes? Yes.
Exactly, exactly. And then it becomes a powerful yes, not an automatic yes. You know,
Yes. Absolutely.
and that's
Absolutely.
what we want. We want more powerful yeses. We want people at work to be able to go when their boss says, "Here, take on 2 extra jobs." You can say to them, "Well, tell me more about those jobs. What do you need from me so I can say yes to you?" But at the moment, you're not giving me enough information to say yes. So,
Exactly. And it's okay to do that.
yes,
Even with your
it's okay to
doctor.
say no.
Even with your doctor. Don't just
Yes,
say yes to medications. Ask questions. What are the side effects? How will it impact me in my future? I mean, oh my goodness. Yes. All right. We're going to take another commercial and then we're going to come back and talk about your second book and how it too ties in with boundaries, guilt, and the weight of letting go.
perfect.
Okay. So let me see where I want to go. Okay.
Mama Knows creates high quality products that are available to be used on multiple textures of hair. Her goal is to bridge the gap to stop people from having to use multiple products because of families with multiple hair types. Her products are currently being used on men, women, children of all ethnicities. Mama Knows products are available at www.mamaknowsproducts.com. That's www.mamaknowsproducts.com. You can also find her on Instagram at Mama Knows Products because Mama knows what you need.
Let me tell you about these products. They are wonderful. They smell great. They do wonders with your hair. Shampoos, conditioners, moisturizers, elixirs, all kinds of products for your hair. So you want to check out Mama Knows Products at mamaknowsproducts.com. Why? Because Mama knows what you need. So check out mamaknowsproducts.com. Okay. All right. Now, I do want to. Okay, I'm in the process of. Okay. I do want to pull up your book. I'm putting Mama Knows products in the chat so people will know how to reach her. And now let me go to this book. And I love the cover. She Grows Stronger. Let's talk about this book.
Okay, well, this book is an anthology. There's 32 women have written their stories in this book. My story in there is called The Space Between, and it talks about what we've been talking about, that moment between um, you being asked something and you making the answer to it, so between the question and the answer. And this one's a bit more personal. It's more about when I discovered the concept when I was traveling and why I was aware of it. And it talks a little bit about how I knew something was missing, but I didn't realize what it was, that I wasn't giving myself permission to be, I was still, suppose the best way of putting it is I was still living the life I thought I should live, even though I was traveling the world and it sounded really cool and all the rest of it. I was on autopilot still. I was still, getting up at 2 o'clock in the morning and messaging somebody if they'd sent me an email and being the perfect businesswoman. Instead of saying, well, I'm going to sleep, I'll talk to you later, like I was very much still doing what the right thing because that's what society had said that I needed to do. You know, hustle, 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 hustle. Um, and that's what this is. And it's got, as I said, 32 women in there, all telling their stories in all different things, but still it has that core um, message underneath it of she grows stronger. So it's really, really lovely. I've read most of the stories. I haven't got through all of them yet. It just today it went live. I had a preview copy, of course, but today it's gone live as a paperback. And sorry, as a Kindle, an ebook today, and in 2 weeks' time it will become a paperback.
Now, can they also they can reach out to you also at www.tinafletcher.com, correct?
That's correct. And on there you'll see the books on there on my book page. So everything's there. It's nice and simple. It's only a little website, but everything's on there for you. Keep it simple, make life easy for myself.
Yes, absolutely. Awesome. So check out www.tinafletcher.com. And I want to talk about, we spoke a little bit. Now we've talked about boundaries, guilt, and the weight of letting go. And I know clearly from your childhood, it's like traveling is in your blood. It's in your blood.
Very much so. Yeah, I love traveling. There's so much out there to see in the world. I'm lucky I'm in a position that I can do that. I'm lucky that my skills are online that allows me to work wherever I want. But a lot of that wasn't luck. A lot of it was deciding that, well, yeah, the first bit was luck because when I went into the military, I actually went in to be a cook. But then I become an illustrator reprographic. That's the job that I had in there, which I didn't even know was a job. But um, I was I was selected to be in it, and I only took like 10 people a year for that position. So and from that it's basically graphic design work. So in the fact that I was lucky to be able to that I already had a job that was available online, fantastic. It meant that I was allowed to be home with my kids and things like that. So yes, there was some luck, but it's like everybody, we get luck in our life, but it depends on if we decide to embrace it or dismiss it, don't we?
Yes.
You get, and I think that's the biggest thing is that with this ability to be able to work online, which has now become everything for everybody. I did it before it was a thing. I was doing it. I've been online. We got computers when I was in the military before everybody else. So I've been doing this since it started.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Well,
So
so tell me more about, okay, tell me, I know you have 5 children
yes,
and balancing your travel with your children and spending time with them. Do you find any challenge in that?
of course, there's challenges and everything. Yeah, I'd be lying if I said to you, oh, it's all roses and butterflies. I'm lying. Of course, there's challenges. There's challenges when I come back and visit them that I'm in their space. They have the ways their house runs, and obviously, what I would like doesn't always match or meld nicely together, so we have to compromise. Um, when I'm traveling, I miss them. I don't get to get cuddles every day. I mean, that's sad. But you take the good and the bad out of the things that you're getting, and you appreciate the the things that you get in different situations. I come back and get 1,000 cuddles, but then when I'm traveling, I don't get them from my children. But we talk every day, so you just find another way to navigate the challenges, and the challenges are a lot of times happen if we don't talk and if we don't communicate. So
Yeah, communications is absolutely
yeah,
key. It is most
yeah,
important. Well, let me ask you now, with you traveling like all over as you do, and it sound like your work was like just totally consuming you. So when did you recognize that as you traveled, were you taking advantage of the beauty that was around you, or were you just really focused so doggedly on your work?
I mean, I've had moments where I've been totally focused on the work, but I slow travel. So if I have to, spend days of really intense work, I'm not missing out on them because I'm not a tourist. I'm a nomad. So if it takes me a month to explore an area, that's okay. So I don't do 2 days here and 5 days here and 3 days there. I'll do it a month in an area. Um, and I found that allowed me to have the best of both worlds.
Yes.
And I do find that it does frustrate, when people come and visit me and have holidays with me. They would think that I'm on holiday mode, but I'm not. This is my life. I have to work every day, or not every day, most days. But that's choices. I now with this new business that I'm running, it's a lot less hands off than previously when I was doing design work and business coaching. So
Okay.
it's
Well, let's
interesting.
talk about your new business.
Well, that's where I'm at the moment. I have not got a lot to offer people because I really would like them to do have conversations with amazing people like you, which is so awesome. And I've just got my couple of books at the moment, and there's a couple of little other products coming out. And I'm going to be putting out 5 books over the next micro books over the next month, 5 months, and then I have an actual paper book coming out that will be called Pause, because that's what it's all about, is the pause, that space between reaction and how you navigate it. So
I love
yeah,
it.
it's just I believe that women especially have to learn to embrace themselves and put themselves first. Self permission is the basis of everything, and I didn't realize that. And hence the reason I got burnt out. And I think a lot of people don't realize that. And as a parent, if you don't take time out for yourself, and it does not mean you have to go and live have 2 days fast, be nice, but you don't. It doesn't mean that. It means that you understand your own personal opinion on something, and also that you go, okay, I need time out now. Go watch a movie. Go read a book. Go play in the corner. I need 5 minutes to myself so that I can react to you in a positive way. Because if you ask me your question right now, you're going to get a bad answer because I'm not in a position to help you. So I think that that's the biggest thing that I think self-permission allows you to do, is react positively because you're consciously aware of your yeses and your nos and your, sure, I can do that today. I have no problems being up at 2 o'clock in the morning baking 200 biscuits because you want them for the camp the next day. I'm not talking from experience here at all. We've all done things like that. But if you want to do it, fantastic. But knowing that you don't have to is the difference.
Yes, it's about choice and people understanding you choose. We
Yes.
choose how, and even, Dr. Phil says we teach people how to treat us.
Yes.
And so if we're not instilling or having some boundaries, if we're not, and also I do want to talk about guilt, because oftentimes guilt comes from both sides of the coin. Um, Parents feeling guilty, especially as parents are getting older and their children are in fact there for them,
Mm-hmm.
and parents feeling guilty about that. What
Yes,
are
that's a really big one.
yes, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think as if by the stage you get to that, if you have been building an adult relationship, it should be a natural transition. If you have still kept in parent child mode, how can you change to that? It's a lot harder. So you have another step to do before you can get to that. So if you've always been the parent and my word is the law, this is how it's all happening, and then you have to, because you're getting older and you need some support, how does that child navigate that? Because they're used to you being my word is law. So you need to build that adult relationship. You might have to build it really, really fast because you need help right now, but you have to consciously, as that adult, go, I'm at fault here. Not that it's a bad thing, but I now need to navigate this as adult and say, I need some support because we're both adults and I now need support. And I think that's the biggest way, because that guilt, if you can't accept that you're both adults, that guilt of needing that help is going to destroy both of you, because you're going to give them the guilt of not being able to help you. So you're not actually, you're as a parent are not doing your next job, which is to make them an adult. And then your next job is to allow them to be guilt free to relating to you, if possible. Not always. I don't think you could ever be guilt free, but have a little bit guilt less.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Um,
And on both ends, making sure that you have shown love, given love, been love, throughout your lives.
yes,
So that communication is there, and
yes,
the understanding of those boundaries, and also that will help eliminate guilt when I've done everything I can possibly do, as a parent, also as an adult child.
yes,
And then, I mean, like, yeah, that's the best way. But so often it's not that way. So parents with adult children who may be living in your home, you may have tried to set boundaries and they're like, that's not happening. Um, just know, that you can take your power back. Take your
yes.
power back.
And it could be as simple as, if you haven't put those boundaries in place and it's still feels like that parent child, but now it's thing is you're getting older and it feels like they've stepped into parent role and you're now the child, which is what happens. And so you now don't know how to navigate that because the whole dynamics have changed. This is where it is hard. It is very, very hard because you never got to adult. So you have to now make sure when you're navigating these things that you listen and ask questions. Say, hey,
Yes.
I've realized that I'm putting a lot of pressure on you to help me with this because I'm, navigating health issues, or I'm having these problems, financial issues. Now, as the parent, I'm having these problems, and you as the adult child, I need your help. And I'm feeling very guilty about asking you these things, but I haven't got a choice. What I'd like to ask you, could we discuss this so that you don't feel obligated to help me if you can't help me? And can I also, we both, so it still comes back to conversations, doesn't it?
Yeah,
But
it
I think you've
does.
got to
Honest
raise,
conversations.
yeah. And that's hard when you're suddenly the dynamics have changed and you feel like you're in a position of lack or less because of the dynamics. So you have to give yourself the power back and say, hey, I'm in a position that I'm uncomfortable with. How can I work through this?
Exactly. And acknowledging the
Yes,
discomfort,
yes,
acknowledging as you're in the conversation, this is hard for me to talk about, but, and I'm uncomfortable with this, but these are things that we need to discuss.
yes, exactly. Because how do they know? They can't read your mind. And let's face it, where most of us, especially women, are really good at smiling and going, yeah, everything's awesome today. We want that, we've got that persona, but sometimes we've got to step back and say, hey, actually, it's not awesome today. Today really sucks. I'm struggling. There's this big weight and guilt over me because I'm expecting something from you as my child that I never thought I would expect, but I need that help. Can we work out a way for this to not feel like both of us feel like crap? Can we navigate this in a way that we both, if we can't both win, can we both at least not lose? Because sometimes the
Exactly.
situation cannot be a win-win, but maybe it can be at least not a lose-lose, you know?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. We're going to go back to another commercial and we will be right back.
Been feeling myself for a minute. Hallelujah. Amen.
Hey there, Jason McNamara here, and I'm about to drop something truly game-changing your way. Are you tired of the same old 9-to-5 grind? Feeling stuck in obtaining the life you deserve and craving something more? Well, listen up, because I've got something you will not want to miss. Introducing the No More 9-to-5 Club Professional Membership, your ticket to freedom and success in the entrepreneurial world. With our professional membership, you'll get access to weekly coaching sessions, pre-recorded trainings, and a vibrant community of fellow game changers. You get access to technology that will allow you to automate passive income streams, as well as unlock all of our expert-led trainings in the back office so you know where to go for good advice when you need it. You will also use the club to build up a residual income stream with a 2-tier 33% affiliate commission unlocked at this level, allowing you to help people help themselves while generating a residual passive income stream for yourself. And here's the kicker. For a limited time, you can unlock all of this just for a $1.11 donation to our club foundation.
I like this one.
Your first month is on us. So what's holding you back? Click the link below, make your donation, and let's start building the life and business of your dreams together. Here at the No More 9-to-5 Club, we're all about turning dreams into reality and smashing through those glass ceilings.
That's what I'm talking about, Jake.
Whether you're a seasoned entrepreneur or just starting out, we've got the tools and support you need to thrive and evolve. And don't forget to sign up for our bootcamp training. It's the perfect way to kickstart your journey and unlock even more perks. So what are you waiting for? Join the No More 9-to-5 Club today and let's make those dreams a reality. I can't wait to see you on the inside. You only get one now. Invest it in your better future. Let's make magic happen together.
No more 9 to 5. Let me tell you, this is an organization. It's actually a club that brings people together from all over the world. And you have masterminds, networking, the ability to look at residual income. Check out No More 9 to 5. And you can join for $1.11 for the first month just to check out all the things that are involved in it. So go to, and also all proceeds go towards veterans. So check out bit.ly/ no more, the number 9, the number 2, the number 5, VT. No more 9 to 5. Check it out. All right. Now, so we talked about boundaries, we talked about guilt, and when we are in adult mode and being able to communicate even if it's uncomfortable and acknowledging how you feel about the conversation, and do all you can to show love, give love, be love, and be kind
Yeah,
in your
yeah,
home as well as outside.
absolutely. Because remember, guilt is just a feeling. It's not a fact, you know? It, guilt fades, but resentment doesn't. So if you don't have a conversation, you've gone from guilt to resentment. Um,
Yes.
and that's really, really important to remember that the weight of that guilt, you can lose that, but if you make it become resentment, you've got lots more work to do.
Yes, and one of my friends from Kentucky, Kai. Hi, Vera. You are the best. Oh, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. You and I need to get together soon. Yes. Okay. So I'm so glad she chimed in. So, okay. Lost my train of thought. Blame it on my head. What were you saying?
We were talking about guilt, but we could talk about
Yes,
anything.
yes, yes, yes. But guilt is, I mean, and oftentimes it's such a weight It
Yes,
is a weight. We're talking about the weight of letting go. Let go of the weight of
yes,
guilt and regret.
yeah. Because they're only just they're things that you can't change. You can only move forward from. So you can regret a situation, but you can't go back and change that situation. It's happened. It's the past. So it's not going to change. What you can do is how you react to moving forward with that. And that's what I talk about. You think stop the conscious yeses, the unconscious yeses, the autopilot. And so if you've been in a situation that you're feeling, resentment and anger and all the rest of it, just pause, stop, think about it before you say one more word, and then go, hang on a sec, what do I need so that I can give more from a position of power?
Yes. And is this good for me?
Yes. And the other person if possible. Like,
Right.
you
Is
want to,
it good for us? Yes.
yes, you know, not as parent, child, as two adults. Think of it that way. And that's a hard thing to turn off after 20 or 30 or 40 years as the parent, that you have to think of them as an adult. And what do
Yes.
they need as an adult?
Yes.
You know?
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. Is
Yeah.
there anything else you want to share with us that we can enlighten and I can put in the comments? We've said a lot of stuff I should have been putting in the comments. But can you give us some nuggets on how to be selfish, but yet, and why? Why is it so important to be selfish?
I think the biggest reason you have to be selfish, because if you don't look after yourself, how can you give to others? If you are miserable, exhausted, tired, angry, any of those emotions, how are you going to give value? Whether it's in the workplace, at home, anywhere. If you don't put yourself first, you're actually letting people down. The minute you understand that it's not that selfish is you giving less, it suddenly changes everything.
Absolutely. Absolutely. If you do not look after yourself, how can you give value to others?
Yes. And that's a really hard one to do because women, we have been taught from birth, what a good girl you are. It's nice that you're sitting quietly. Oh, it's lovely how polite you are. Oh, just smile. Oh my God, if I don't know, I remember doing waitressing and being told, oh, love, you should smile. And I'm thinking, I'm trying to serve 16 drinks here and listen to your rant. Can't do everything and still smile. But, that's what we were conditioned to do. So that conditioning is there. It's not, it hasn't changed. It's there. And we're lucky in this world that we have some more rights, maybe for a while. Um,
Yes.
but yeah, that's another conversation.
That is.
uh,
Oh my God. Yes,
but
it
we
is.
need to understand we cannot help others if we don't put ourselves first. Self permission is not selfish, it is what we need to do to be better.
Absolutely. And if you're living in guilt and regret, you need to let it go. You cannot move forward looking back in the past, a past of guilt and regret. You can't. You got to let it go. It's over. It's done with. Just do better. Do better.
Well,
When we
yeah, I
know
suppose
better,
that
we do better.
yeah, is every time you think of that thing, you go back into the past and live in that regret. Maybe consciously say to yourself, okay, I did the wrong thing there. In future, I will do this. Because some people go, oh, I can't let it go. It's all too much. It's all too much. So then don't let it go. Acknowledge it and change the dialogue with yourself. Yes, I did
Absolutely.
wrong here. I was such a dill. I did the wrong thing. But in future, I won't be that person because the person I am now is not that person and I can do better.
Absolutely. And you can get in touch with Tina Fletcher by going to www.tinafletcher.com. Tina, it was such a pleasure having you on my show. And if you would not mind holding on for a few minutes as we end this, okay? So,
It's
with
been a pleasure
that,
being here. You're right.
yes, thank you so much. And I appreciate you being here. So, okay.
The